yet.
Daniel cracked an eye open cautiously, pulling himself up onto his elbows and looking up at the blurry shape of his horse's head in front of him. The clearing was empty save for the two of them, marked only by the collection of footprints. An arrow, half buried in the snow, was the only indication that, despite his confusion, he hadn't been dreaming.
Aurora! Where are you? Vex it all.
He moved to his horse's side, pulling his scarf up over his nose and climbing shakily into the saddle again. The bridge loomed before him, rumbling with the sound of the river far below.
Aurora! Please! Can you hear me?
Sir!
Goddesses, finally.
Sir, we've been searching for you half a day now.
I'm sorry. I think I just woke up.
Excuse me, sir?
We were ambushed, I think.
I'm sorry, but ambushed by what exactly? Are you hurt?
They took Aurora and left me here. I don't remember much. Just being hit by something.
You must be mistaken, sir. I don't think they take...
No, you are mistaken. They took him. He's gone.
Something was ripped away from in front of his face, allowing light in and leaving him to clamp his eyes shut against it. His hands were tied, bound in rope, and he was vaguely aware of the hat tipping forward to cover much of his face from view.
Oh, shit.
Aurora staggered to his feet only to be shoved back down to his knees again.
You will kneel.
You can speak. I'm not as mad as I thought.
The feeling of the paw was replaced with the feeling of claws prickling through his jacket. He didn't dare look up, heart hammering in his chest as he stared down at the dirt floor beneath him.
If you trust him, why harm him?
I'm not hurting him.
Why am I here? Do I not have the right to know?
You have nothing. Be quiet.
He needs to speak, Shah. How else will?
You both speak my language quite well. How did you learn?
Look up. You're hard to understand facing down.
In a moment, my head is spinning. Meanwhile, where is my friend?
Back with your kind. He was left where he fell, unharmed. Stand, Aurora. I only wish to speak. No harm will come if you hear what I have to say.
Nodding, Aurora swallowed as he struggled to his feet, apprehensive about actually laying eyes on what his mind was assuming was a nightmarish creature. His knee wobbled as he stood, his head swam, spots flashing before his eyes, but everything seemed to be clear the moment his gaze locked with the figure standing before him. Big was an understatement. Monstrous didn't seem right either. Too paralyzing, terrible to describe the creature that stood before him on its hind legs with arms, thick as a man's leg, and covered in a coat of dark gray fur, crossed in front of the barrel of its chest. Vaguely feline was the first thought, judging by the face, mane, and the rounded ears, but the horn crest seemed out of place, more suited for some sort of ox than a cat.
I understand.
I have said nothing. What do you understand?
This is a dream. I'll soon wake up with the Dravar to realize none of this is real.
You felt my claws. Would you feel them in a dream?
Aurora frowned, turning to look back at the second, who was much leaner, lighter in color to the point of being almost snowy white rather than the cold gray of the other. He, the one Aurora settled on, was marked much in the same way, with the ring spots a few shades darker than the color of his fur.
This is impossible.
This is no dream. We offer no harm. You will be returned to your Dravara.
Believe me, they are far from mine.
Aurora,
How did you learn my name?
you gave it to me.
I'll listen, but first, I need to be sure we both understand something.
Speak, then. Binder, free his hands.
I appreciate that. Now, I am not, nor have I ever been, loyal to the Dravara. I'm a slave, and if this has something to do with them, I'm the wrong person for you to speak with. My friend Daniel could tell you more, but he's back with them. Secondly, I'm going to pretend for a moment that I'm not dreaming, and I'm going to believe everything you tell me.
Why would we lie?
Let him speak.
What are your names? I want to know them, and what exactly you want from me here.
You are something.
I told you.
No control.
Impossible to control, some might argue. Do you mind if I stand? My knee gives me trouble if I stay like this too long.
Stand. Yes, be comfortable.
Most would cry. Or screech. Scream. And run.
If we're being honest with each other, the thought has crossed my mind.
You asked for names. I am Bantren. Shah allowed me to bring you here.
I'd introduce myself, but you already know my name. Now, how can I help the two of you gentle... What are you wanting from me?
What is your rank?
You're asking about the Dravara. Well, I certainly don't lead them. But I do make life as difficult as possible for the one who does.
Rowena.
You have met her then, haven't you? I wasn't aware of any contact between the Dravara and... your kind.
There is none that does not result in death.
How do you know, Rowena? You say there isn't any peaceful contact between the Dravara and your kind, but how do you speak my language?
That is a long story.
A traitor to the Dravara came with another of my kind to help us once, and before that, like Shah said, the story is long.
I don't know anything about that. What happened to them? No one to my knowledge has ever...
We are unsure. It is our belief that he is no longer alive. Rowena did not like what he did, and we believe he is gone because of it. Elikeo. Many sun cycles ago, he escaped with a member of another clan and came to us. He taught her to speak, and after he was gone, she began to teach. He showed us there was light in your kind. You are capable of guilt, just as we are.
I don't understand.
Do you know why the Dravara are here?
No, not beyond what rhetoric I was taught ages ago. They protect against,
Go on, you will not offend us.
There are dangers in the East that threaten the safety of the common people and their way of life. The Dravara protect against what lies over the rift. That's what Rowena swears, and that truly is all I know.
No harm has come to you, has it?
No,
What else do you know?
nothing, I promise you.
You are lying to us. You are friends with the man who is her secondary, yes?
If you mean Daniel, he's her chief officer. He doesn't tell me about the inner workings of the Dravara. You don't really talk about them at all. I'm starting to think you don't want me dead. So, I'll ask again. What do you want?
It has been a long time since we've met one willing to stay. Forgive us for not getting to the point.
I do not want anything of you. I ask you only to listen to what I have to say, and a very small amount of trust. Is this agreeable?
Yes.
You need to see.
Shah pushed the hanging flap of the door aside without another word. Aurora swallowed, blinking as he stepped out into the light and trailed after the creature that traveled seemingly on top of the snow rather than sinking down like he did.
This way. It is not too far.
Aurora followed, glancing at Bantram as he walked beside him, and the three followed an incline in the land. The wood and thatch hut they'd been in was on a hillside, overlooking a valley below filled with a collection of similar structures, and swallowing at the sight of the figures moving about below.
Look down. Tell me what you see.
I see a village, more of you, and I see the trees. Is there something else I'm supposed to be seeing?
I see these things too, but I see more. These are the last of us. So few. So many have been killed. Do you know why, Aurora?
No.
I have been told there are stories of what my kind is. No one ever speaks of the horrors of your own. Do you know why we no longer cross the rift? For creatures who think so highly of themselves, you are simple-minded. I repeat and repeat, and still you do not understand me, do you? Fear of my kind protects us. The rift is one thing between my clan and death.
You're talking about the Dravara.
How else can I say this?
Do you understand, Aurora?
I'm sorry, this is a lot to understand at once.
Is this funny?
No. Hold on. That's not what I meant.
We are wasting time. I regret having him here. Get rid of him!
Wait, just a moment. I've heard none of this before. I didn't know what the Dravar had done. This is just a lot of information to get right now.
Do you think we are lying to you?
I'm not sure what all I can do, but maybe I can talk to Rowena. Isn't that what you want from me? You want someone to help you, someone to tell the truth to the others, correct? Or even better, someone to stop things entirely.
Yes.
I'll do it, at least what I can.
Don't take us to be fools. We will hunt you down if you turn your back on this. Am I understood?
You can say a lot about me, but I am not a liar. I'll speak with Rowena as soon as I get back. You can trust me.
Take him back. Do not harm him. He will not be missed by his kind any longer.
Oh, believe me, I haven't been missed.
I will take you back, but you will cross alone. The Dravara will find you. Until we cross, I will keep you safe. Huh?
Right. Appreciate it, all things considered.
Here, tie this around your eyes. You will not remove until I say, yes?
Just don't let me stumble into the rift, and we'll be just fine.
The others will believe you were taken. Speak to her. No one else understand?
Yes.
We are counting on you.
Officer Norton,
I'm sorry? What were you saying?
you've been staring at the same place for a long time. I was told to either see if you were all right or take you to the infirmary. Sir?
Of course. I'll get right on that.
Get right on what, exactly, sir?
Patrols? I should go out again. I'm fine, but I don't need someone to check up on me. I'm just... shaken is all.
I'm sorry, sir. I didn't mean to...
Tell Rowena she doesn't need to worry about me.
Yes, sir.
Excuse me, Officer Norton? I wasn't meaning to listen, but do you want me to ready your horse, sir?
Please.
The boy disappeared from his sight, hurrying off into the stables while Daniel headed towards the main gates. The boy returned shortly, dark hair swept to one side with a push of his hand as he handed off the reins of his horse. Daniel thanked him, pressing a coin into the boy's hand and watching as his tired eyes sparked.
Thank you, sir.
He nodded, not saying anything else as he climbed into the saddle and tapped his heels against his horse's side.
Going out alone?
Yes.
It's getting dark, sir. Are you sure?
I won't be long. I just need to look again.
Watch yourself out there.
The man stepped back then, signaling for the gates to be open. Daniel watched, apprehension rising when he watched the doors swing open. It wasn't long before the stronghold disappeared behind them and they were galloping along. Racing through trees that reached out like spiderly limbs as the sun sunk lower down on the horizon. He didn't want to look anywhere but ahead, fearing he'd be too frightened by the shadows stalking along beside him to continue.
Whoa now!
The path wasn't wide, large enough only for a single horseman to ride alone, but as he stared down it, he could have sworn it went on forever.
We had less than 6 months and you had to ruin it for yourself. Aurora, 6 months and then... this would be over with.
I honestly didn't think this should surprise you. You have to admit, as bad as it was, this isn't the worst thing I've done. So really, I see nothing wrong with what happened.
Oh, I hate you!
Night fell without incident.
She's asking for you.
Oh, she wants to see me now? Is it finally convenient for her?
Be nice.
He tipped his hat, setting off towards the keep and watching as Daniel came up beside him.
She asked that no one else be with you when you're there. Unless you'd like me to come as well. It's up to you.
Did she actually say you could be there?
No. How did you know?
You rub the back of your neck when you lie. I'll manage.
Just... please, be careful. I think you two could get along if...
If I rolled over and showed my belly, she's arrogant.
An entirely unfamiliar concept to you, right? No, that isn't what I was going to say. Never mind.
How are things going, by the way? Still enjoying the privileges of being the chief officer?
Well, it's fine.
The keep was shaped into a 5-pointed star. Stone walls more massive than any he'd ever seen extended up towards the heavens, much in the way a cathedral, even if the building was far from that, would have been built. 4 towers, each ensnared in a net of rime-thorn vines, reared up from the courtyard to where they were connected by a series of upper walkways.
I'll be right here if you need me. Please, try not to...
I won't.
Aurora, I'm serious.
Daniel rubbed at his wrists, eyes glued to the ground while Aurora turned and headed towards the staircase nearby. The halls were dark, lit only by lanterns that hung along the wall, and the air, though they were inside, felt colder even than the courtyard. His feet didn't make it beyond the first step before he saw her, the shadow looming in front of him.
Good evening. I'm glad you've requested a meeting. We have much to discuss, and I certainly am unable to talk with you very often.
The red of her lips parting to reveal a sharp smile that sent a prick of something indistinguishable down his spine.
I am sure you're tired after such an ordeal. However, I can assure you that I will keep things brief. You weren't injured, were you? Odd, all things considered.
I'm fine. Appreciate the concern.
Wonderful, though I must say I expected worse. I apologize for that, by the way. You must have been terrified. Forgive me. Norton tells me you were rather unshaken by the ordeal. I applaud the bravery.
Fear is sort of a grey area for me.
Yes, I know. I thought we would talk in the lounge. You are always welcome there. You do know that, don't you? Your friend Daniel has visited quite often, in fact, when he's not burdened with keeping you out of trouble. This way, if you will.
They reached the top of the stairs. He glanced up, eyeing the chandelier that seemed out of place compared to the rest of the room that was old, decorated plainly with a few chairs and lit by a fire burning in the massive hearth in front of them. On the floor was a rug, faded fur, and wouldn't have made his blood freeze if it wasn't marked by sickeningly familiar ringed patterns.
You may sit down if it would be more comfortable. You must be exhausted. Would you like something to drink?
No, thank you.
Wine? Something stronger, perhaps?
I don't drink.
A little story I was told the other day tends to suggest otherwise.
Rowena started reaching for a clear bottle and pouring herself a glass, pausing to glance up at him, before pouring a second. She reached forward, handing it to Aurora before stepping back with the same calm smile twisting on her lips.
I'm going to assume you know why I'm here.
Indeed, but please, do tell me why you wanted to speak with me. It would be more interesting than hearing me talk this whole time, wouldn't it?
Daniel and I were abducted. Well, I was taken. He was left on the side. You already know about them, I assume. So I won't go into who took me.
Yes, but being taken isn't why you're here.
Will you answer something for me?
Of course.
Why didn't they kill me?
Excuse me. I was, surprised by your question. I'm afraid I can't answer it for you.
What can you answer for me?
You were the one who requested this meeting, did you not? Ask what you wish, and I'll let you go on your way. Or you could stay a while if you'd like, but I do believe we agreed to keep this meeting brief, yes?
You obviously know why I'm here, but I'm lost. Tell me why you think I'm here. And...
Oh, don't lie to me, Aurora. You know very well why you're here. I just don't understand why you won't speak your mind. I don't have all evening, but we can keep dancing around it if you'd like. Forgive me if I'm misunderstanding.
Why did they take me? You know the answer, don't you?
Of course.
I've had enough of this. Answer my questions or I leave.
I was never able to understand you. You act like you have such a mystery about you, the dark looks, the reclusive behaviour. Certainly helps you with that. Your silly little hat throws it all off a bit, doesn't it? It's truly a shame you're leaving us so soon.
Rowena reached up, running a hand along the brim of his hat before he tore away.
You really are fascinating.
I wish I knew the difference between earnestness and ridicule with you.
Oh, will you calm down? I thought it was clear I was only joking with you. My previous chief officer spoke very highly of you since the day you arrived. It baffled me for a long while, but he truly believed you could become something great. You know that, don't you? Don't you?
Yes.
Sit down, Aurora. I know why you're here.
He glared, trying to pull away but stopping when her hand snatched at the fabric of his scarf, tightening the knot at his throat. She smiled, snaking an arm behind his head to the back of his neck, wrenching his head forward painfully until they were only inches apart.
The only question is, do you? I'm not afraid of you. If there is something you want to talk about, do share. I assume you were told some information, correct?
Yes?
Sit down, and I'll tell you everything.
She let go, reaching back for the drink he'd set down earlier and placing it back into his hand once more.
Have a drink. You will feel much better, I can assure you that.
Glaring still, he sat down in the same chair, propping his boots up on the table and slumping back carefully. She frowned lightly, almost seemingly disappointed before she moved, light as air, to lean against the arm of his chair.
You are asking why you were taken, correct? Unfortunately, I don't have a very good answer for you. If you tell me what was all said, I can explain, or we can continue the dance.
Just don't touch me again.
As I was saying, names are usually given. Were you given any names?
What do you mean? Has this happened before?
It's been a long time now. A newer recruit was taken after some rather complicated circumstances. Others claim to have been taken, but they never have been able to supply names. However, the other recruit knew things many of the others didn't afterwards. So my question is, what were you told?
Is it true?
That depends on what they told you.
You already know what I was told. I was told what the Dravar have done, what you have done. I was told about the party sent over to kill them, and I'm partial to believing them, considering the Dravar have done nothing but make me hate.
Hate is a strong word.
Is it true or not? This is pathetic. First you lied to me, and now you're too much of a coward to speak at all. I knew you were vile, but this is something entirely new. What could you possibly gain from doing this? To the
Faileran.
Excuse me?
That is what they call themselves. But you were asking what I can gain from this. Well, the answer is simple.
Wealth?
I have my reasons, and I'm sure you could find out for yourself. I know. Why don't you give it a try?
I don't like riddles.
You have an imagination, don't you? Imagine this for me. You are living in a place haunted by tales of what lurks just outside your door. However, you've been entrusted with protecting the common people from this threat, and not a man or woman in the world can touch you. On top of that, you're living in luxury with people who cater to your every whim, ones who keep the nights from being so lonely, and others who simply are there to serve you. The capital takes care of you, always. It sounds wonderful, does it not?
You're describing yourself.
Power and wealth are things that make this world spin round and around. Do you understand? If not, I could go on. There are other reasons.
That's bullshit. All of it. And you know it. What? I suppose you'll have to kill me now, right?
I don't appreciate being interrupted.
Yes. And I don't care.
On the subject of killing you? Of course not. There are plenty who know what's going on here. Retrievers, I call them, who would be happy for you to join them. I normally try to keep things in the dark. Too many people who know the truth makes for reliability, and you understand why I can't have that, don't you?
Why would I
Silly name of yours. I never understood it, but hiding your real name is important to you, isn't it? But some advice.
I don't want your advice. What have they ever done to you? How can you justify?
They're not like us, Aurora.
If you're going to argue they're any lesser, not many animals I know of can speak and have entire villages. They're afraid.
Fear is natural.
His hand moved to brush over the holster at his side, but her revolver was already free, trained at his chest.
Lay a finger on that gun and I'll shoot a hole through that pretty face of yours. I'm certain no one would miss you.
I know.
She smiled then, slowly lowering the gun and holstering it once more. The door opened, but Aurora kept his back turned. Hearing the two enter was enough.
Thank you both for coming on such short notice. I knew we would have some trouble, and...
My understanding was this was a private meeting.
Oh, I'm afraid I simply can't let you leave, Aurora. You are an enjoyment to have around, but I don't believe I can trust you to keep this between us. I will be sending a retrieval party out tomorrow, and I'd like for you to join them. Am I understood?
Understood, but there isn't a chance.
No, none of that. You're going to join them.
Do you expect me to roll over like a dog?
The Dravara were grabbing at his arm then, dragging him backwards while he struggled to throw them off despite the pain ripping through his shoulder. However, he stopped the instant a boot was slammed into the back of his knee, and he sunk down to the ground. Rowena sighed then, walking over and raising his head up with a gentle finger.
You will do as you're told. I really would hate to get rid of you. You've survived so long without too many horribly serious incidents. This isn't worth your life.
You're a liar and a murderer.
You have such a hatred for me. It's such a shame you couldn't harness it. Goodbye, Aurora. I hope we can talk again sometime soon. It's always a pleasure.
Fuck off.
A hand was clamped over his mouth, cutting him off as they dragged him to his feet and back towards the door again. Rowena smiled as they left.
You'll do as you're told. They always do.
How many sons do you have, innkeeper?
3.
3 officers, clad in blue.
So which one are you?
Aurora.
Not a name I've heard before. Odd. But he can speak, can't he? Or do you have 2 mute sons?
How'd you know Silas was mute?
Oh, your father must have mentioned it earlier to me.
Don't think he did. Sir.
No, sir. I speak just fine. As I said, my name is Aurora.
I told you the innkeeper wasn't joking. What sort of name is that?
I've met men with strange names before, but not as strange as yours. The obnoxious one is Richard, and the quiet one is Bradley. I'm Benjamin Hook. We were told that there have been instances of runaways being harbored in this town. Do you, and of course you don't, but do you know anything about that?
No, sir. There were a few of them wandering the streets a while. I suggest you look there.
How old are you exactly? Must be getting close to 16 by now, aren't you?
15, sir. The same age as my brother, and my sister's a few months behind. I turned 16 in the fall. You're an officer of the Dravara, aren't you?
You know, we have young as 14 joining up. In answer to your question, yes, I'm an officer. Seen much of the Dravara before to know that?
No, sir. You looked at the other 2, and they stopped what they're doing. You're older than I am by a number of years, which means you've stayed with the Dravara for longer than just 2 or 4 years. So, if you've stayed that long, you've likely worked your way up the ranks, which is why I said officer.
We could use more like you.
Thank you, sir. Father, should we go wake up Daniel?
Yes, you 3 have work to do. I sent Silas on an errand this morning already. Would you gentlemen like a drink? On the house for men of service. Don't see many Dravara around here unless you count the occasional bounty hunters.
Perhaps we should come more often.
He moved off towards Daniel's room, feet threading carefully over the wooden floor. He raised his fist to knock, hair on the back of his neck prickling.
Get up! You look like someone wrestled you out of that bed. Is your hair always like that?
What is it?
The Dravara.
What about them?
They're here.
Step back. I swear to both of the vexing goddesses I'll blow you. Boys, run!
Isn't there somewhere we can hide?
Clearing.
We'll split up.
Go.
We can't leave you.
We don't have time. Run. Go!
Stay back!
Would have been easier if you just came along. I can help you.
I said, stay back!
Aurora, wait!
He didn't stop running.
She's fine. She's...
Aurora rose shakily, collecting his hat and his coat. Something, There had to be something he could do.
Open the gates.
I'm afraid that I can't do that, sir. It's been asked that they don't open until the patrol gets back.
Aurora's horse was spinning wildly in circles, as impatient and fiery as his rider. He grit his teeth, glaring and pulling sharply to hold his horse in front of him.
Open them!
I'm sorry, but Rowena herself ordered the gates remain closed.
Why?
I don't question the orders that I get. Do you?
I do now. Open the gates, please, or I'll blow your vexing head off.
Open the gates!
Easy.
Hey there, so my name is Emmett, and I'm a writer, or project, whatever. I write the thing, but you won't actually hear me talking at all in the thing, except for now, I guess. So, a couple things real fast, and then I'll let you guys get back to it. First of all, thank you so much for listening. We've gotten some really good feedback, comments in general, which are super helpful to both me and also the other people working on the project, voice actors and editors, stuff like that. So the other thing I wanted to say real fast was that we have a Patreon, or will by the time this is done, hopefully. Most of you have probably encountered Patreon before, know how that works. But we'll have stuff up on there like access to a Discord server where you can see just early releases of things, trailers, little clips, work in progress, sort of stuff like that. And I guess chat and hang out spot, sort of. And you're also probably going to have a couple of the voice actors who want to be in there come as well. But higher tiers will have other things that you can check out, aside from the Discord, so feel free to scroll through at your leisure. Aside from that, feel free to reach out on Twitter. There's also the YouTube channel. We are, again, as I said before, always looking for ways to improve, and hearing from you folks is really helping quite a bit. So, thank you very much yet again, and that's it.
Who goes there?
He pulled to a halt finally, horse dancing sideways as Aurora faced them. Faced him.
You shouldn't be here.
Neither should you.
Aurora, turn around and ride back to where you came. I'm begging you.
Go back to the stronghold. You don't know what you're doing, you damn loon.
That's enough. How did you get here? The gates were closed.
I opened them.
We need to talk, but not now.
Daniel, listen to...
No! You listen to me. What are you doing out here?
I want to join you.
No. Go back to the stronghold. Just... How do you know about the retrieval parties? No one...
Rowena.
I know that's not true.
She told me.
No, I don't doubt that much. I just know you wouldn't do this.
You're right. I know they don't trust me, but you have to listen. We can't do this, Daniel. They...
Excuse me? There is no we, Aurora. I'm doing my job. Go back to the stronghold before you get hurt.
I refuse to go back knowing what you're about to do. Can't you see what she's doing to you? To them?
If you'll excuse me, I need to get back to my job. You should try it. Go home before you get yourself killed.
He knew what it was before he even spurred his horse forward, surpassing a frozen Daniel who only stared, and came to see the figures emerging from the trees.
Run! Get out of here!
Stand your ground!
You're going to die!
A single rider, shot from the group only to escape and his breath cut short when 2 arrows were buried in his chest a moment later.
Run! Form ranks!
Coal-colored fur marked with paint, designs that Aurora couldn't bring himself to focus on.
You lie!
Kill me then! You're right, I lied to you. These others have done nothing. Leave them be. No one wants to die. And I don't think you can afford to lose any of your clan, can you?
Aurora!
I should have known. Bantram has failed. You have failed.
Wait! Please, I can help.
You lie again. I spared your life.
Aurora, are you alright?
Didn't think we'd die like this, did you?
We're surrounded!
And you just shot the clan leader. Brilliant.
Kill them!
Daniel is the chief officer. He has more power than I do with the Dravara. He can change this, all of this. It will never happen again.
No, Aurora, stop!
You are asking for mercy. I gave you one chance, and you repay me with this. I left you alive, but I will not make that mistake again.
Please, I don't want to die.
Wait, your arm. That will kill you if you don't treat the poison. We can help you. Daniel here is quite the healer, aren't you?
Yes, well, I'm not the best, but I can help you.
Why should I trust you?
You told me once about the Dravara who helped you.
He is dead.
And you will be too if you don't let us help you.
Fine. Help then.
Daniel, you're the expert here. So, make like an expert and expert things.
Will you allow me?
His ears flattened, teeth still bared before he held his arm out for Daniel to see.
All right, Aurora. Can you find a saddle pack and find some bandages? I'm sure some of the horses were carrying supplies.
Aurora nodded, watching Daniel carefully as he turned to face the nearest animal, legs splayed out and mouth still frozen in fear, whinny that never managed to escape before an arrow had struck it dead. He swallowed, shivering as he moved forward to dig through the pack and returned with what he assumed was the only medical supplies they had.
You have killed before. I remember the faces.
Here.
Open the vial for me.
Daniel's shaking hands rotated the clan leader's arm carefully.
This will hurt.
You have done worse.
I was only warning you.
He did warn you.
Aurora, shut up. You'll need to keep it covered.
We know how to care for our wounded.
You killed my men.
Daniel, stop.
No! I knew these men! They're dead now because of you!
And your men would have done the same!
Daniel, this is not a fight you're going to win.
Daniel's hand was on his pistol a moment later, tearing away from Aurora to cock the weapon back to fire as his aim steadied.
But I won't die before he does.
Lower.
No!
You are all the same. You will attack, even if it means you will die. Fire your weapon, and you will die.
And so will you.
Aurora's heart was pounding, hammering faster with every second that rolled by, and every twitch of the Feloran around them. He didn't even notice the one drawing an arrow, pulling back to fire and aiming until Daniel spun to face them.
Move an inch, and I swear to the goddesses, I'll shoot you!
The Feloran ears flattened, bowstring coming forward slowly.
Leave them alone, they don't understand!
Daniel's eyes stared at the barrel of his gun, hammer still drawn back to fire. With one swipe of his arm, Shah struck Daniel in the side of the head and sent him sailing into the snow.
You are a liar!
He went stumbling sideways, limbs unfreezing as he slid to Daniel's side, kneeling and shaking his shoulder.
Daniel, can you hear me? Vex it all, answer me, you son of a bitch!
Aurora looked up at the white horse, but seeing the black of its rider's hair was more than enough of a glance.
me!
Seize him.
No, we were attacked! He needs help, please!
Bind his hands.
Help him! He's bleeding! There's blood!
Rowena dismounted, moving to kneel at Daniel's side, fingers pressing lightly beneath his chin.
He's dead.
No! No, he's not.
Oh, Aurora. What have you done?